Hey, it's Cobra here at MaddenGuides.com, and for this Madden 22 offensive plays video breakdown, we're going to take a look at a man beater out of the Singleback Wing Flex, and the name of the play is called Play Action Y Cross. And this particular play, by default, as far as the design, does an easily good job at attacking man coverage without making any adjustments at all. It can also be even more effective with a hidden motion in this particular formation that makes it even more effective. And that's what I'm going to show in this video breakdown. So let's get going into it. But first, let's take a look at the play diagram and some play info for this particular play. The name of the play is called Singleback Wing Flex, Play Action Y Cross. Personnel is 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers. Personnel group is 11. Play action is the play type. You also got the concept was Y cross. The primary receivers tight end, routes run are 5, and the pass blockers are 5. So let's go ahead and take a look at the playbooks that you'll find this particular play in. You'll find it in the Bears, Broncos, Chargers, Chiefs, Cowboys, and Saints. For this video breakdown, I want to go ahead and use the Cowboys playbook, seeing that the Cowboys put the whooping on the Atlanta Falcons this afternoon, which made me very happy after last week's horrible loss to the Denver Broncos. All right, so as you look at it here, the Singleback Wing formation, the Singleback Wing Flex formation is the formation that we're going to go ahead and use here. And as I said before, the name of the play is called Play Action Y Cross. For the defensive formation that we're going to start with, we're going to use the Atlanta Falcons playbook, and we're going to use the 3-4 under, cover 2 man is the defense that we're going to start off with this breakdown. All right, so as you look at it, the play that, as far as being effective, as far as attacking man coverage, the receiver that's usually open in most cases, and for most of us who run this particular play, we're probably going to be looking for this tight end. He's the tight end lineup on the line of scrimmage. He's the number 1 tight end on depth chart. And a lot of times he'll get in this area here where you'll find him open, where once you drop your quarterback back, when he comes out of the play action animation, you're going to find him open somewhere in that area there where you can make that throw and complete it for a nice passing play. So that's generally the guy that most of us look to throw to. Now, the other option a lot of times you might look to throw to is the running back. Once he goes through the play fake and he leaks out in this area here, you might find him somewhere open in the flat. And another route that I want to go ahead, and a couple other routes I want to go ahead and mention here, is this route on the outside that's ran by this receiver on the outside. Now, his route is a streak, and if you can get some one-on-one coverage, maybe they're in cover 0, you might be able to throw this over the top and get a big play out of it. If that gentleman, or the receiver in this case, Lamb, is able to get off the line of scrimmage pretty quick. To the inside of him is going to be Cooper. A lot of times, this is another receiver you might hit with cover 2 man coverage. You might be able to hit him on the post, so he's lined up here. Let me go clear that illustration, but you might be able to hit him as he goes towards the post and hit him in that area there. And then finally, over here to the right side, you got the second tight end, which is the tight end 2. He's just going to leak out here into the flat. Now, I'm going to go ahead and run this play without making any adjustments at all. So I just want to go ahead and run, just show you that this tight end, a lot of times, this is the guy that a lot of us will look to throw to when we run this play. So that's that guy right there. Now, what if we could get some hidden motion in here that's going to show you something that you haven't seen with this particular play? Now, a lot of times when we put this guy in motion right here, I'm going to go ahead and show him to you. It's going to be Cooper, right? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to go ahead and motion him. I want you guys to see something here in just a bit. First, I'm going to go ahead and motion him over, and he's going to line up out here to the right when I do this. So let's just go ahead and do that. And you can see, if you look at it, he lines up to the outside. You also notice that this corner that was covering him over on the left side is now covering him on the right side, which isn't anything strange. There's nothing like, oh, man, that's crazy, Cobra. What are you talking about? You're right. There's nothing crazy about that. But what if I told you you could get Cooper matched up with a linebacker by using motion? Now, that might raise your eyebrows a little bit. So let's go ahead and put him back in over to the left here. And I want you guys to see what I'm talking about here. So again, you'll notice the corners in man coverage. Now, when I did the motion, I had pressed right on the D-pad to get him to go in motion, which is pretty standard, right? And nothing new there. But if you go ahead and press, let's go ahead and press left instead. We're going to go this. Instead, we're going to go this direction here. Let me go ahead and show it to you. We're going to go press left on the D-pad, so we're going to go left. Now, watch what happens when I do that with him. So he's going in motion. Now, remember, I pressed left on the D-pad. Now look what we got here. Now you can see on your screen, as you look at it, he is running that corner route. However, as you look at it, he is in a stacked position in front of the tight end 2 as you're looking at your screen. So here's the tight end 2, and then here's our receiver I just put in motion. Now, here's the kicker. This particular defender, as you look at it, is in man coverage. Now he is covering the tight end 2. And then the linebacker, I believe it's going to be this linebacker here, is actually going to be in man coverage on this guy right here, which is Cooper, which is a receiver. So now in most cases, we'll have a slower linebacker who's definitely not very good in coverage, not as good as a corner would be, right? In most cases, I mean, how many linebackers are better in man coverage than a corner or a defensive back? None. So with that said, this is the mismatch that we just created with a hidden motion that you'll find out of this particular formation, which again is the Singleback Wing Flex. So now if we go into this, you can see we still pretty much got our tight end. The one that's running that crossing route, he's going to be open. And probably more than likely, our opponent is going to look to defend him. I don't blame him. I mean, that's a crossing route. You see a crossing route, you better darn well think about defending it. So that's going to leave, I guarantee it, we're going to find Cooper wide open on that corner route. So let's go ahead and run it and take a look at it and see what happens here. Now, I'm going to show you something else that's going to help you a little bit with that. Now, notice the safety was still in position. That strong safety was pretty close to making a pick on that. And maybe if you user controlled that or opponent user controlled it, he might have been able to pick that off. There's a good chance that could have happened, right? I mean, there's a good chance that he could have got in front of that and picked it off. Now, if you go back here and look at this, you can see right here that we get this. Actually, the other defender actually changes here, and I wasn't sure who was going to cover him. In this case, it's actually this linebacker. Regardless, it's a linebacker covering him in man coverage, and that's what we wanted, right? That's what we were looking for, to get that guy in man coverage. So there's the coverage right there. And you can see that he gets open, and we're able to make that big play deep down the field, even though that safety was in pretty close to making a pick, could have made a pick. So let's make sure, let's do something about that safety. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hot route the tight end in the wing position on a streak. And then we're going to go ahead and motion Cooper over. And that's the route combination now that we have. So we just made one adjustment and we hot routed that tight end on the streak. And the reason that we want to do this, as I think you guys have probably seen this in a lot of other breakdowns on YouTube or wherever you might have seen them at, we want to clear out that safety. So by hot routing that tight end on a streak, that's going to go ahead and draw this safety back. It's going to clear him out. And then it's going to allow Cooper, who's running this post route, to get a little bit more open once he breaks towards the sideline. So let's go ahead and run it with that combination. Then we're going to go into one more thing we'll talk about here in just a second with this particular play. And a lot of times when you make this catch, I would suggest using the catch run. You can use the aggressive catch if you want, but you certainly want to definitely try to use the aggressive catch, if only if you have to. You'd rather use the catch and run, because if you catch and run, you might get a big play where you can take it all the way into the house for, one play score. So keep that in mind. Now, let's go back here and look at this in instant replay. And he is getting jammed to the line of scrimmage a little bit, but he still gets off. He gets kind of bumped right there, as you see on your screen, but he still gets through. And then you got that throw. And there's that. If we go back in here, let's go ahead and go all the way up here, because I want to talk about this. There's the clear out that I was talking about just a bit ago, where this tight end who's running that streak route, he's clearing out that safety. I mean, that safety's going deep. So that's no way our opponent can now take control of this corner and try to make a break on that. It's not going to happen. So we've got him out of the way by just simply hot routing that tight end on a streak. Now, if we go back into instant replay one more time, you're going to see something else that happened. I'm sure you probably noticed it. One of the things you want to do when you watch football, don't always watch the football. Watch the whole play. Because if you watch the whole play, what I mean by that, don't just watch the football. Don't focus in where the ball's at. Maybe in Madden we might want to do that, but in a real game, try to focus in on the whole play. Look at this guy. He's wide open too. So that's another option. As I said before, we already know that route is already going to be open against man coverage. So we have that route, but we also have this route now. And we have both those routes to throw to as far as attacking this particular coverage, which makes this play pretty darn nice as far as attacking man coverage. Plus, you've got a mismatch with having that linebacker matched up. That's what you're looking for. So one other thing I want to talk about, let's go ahead and respot the ball. If you get a chance to, and you got this lined up, maybe on your first down, you run a run play to the left because you're trying to set this up because you know your opponent likes to run a lot of man coverage. Let's go ahead and go into press here as well. Then you can see when you do that, you get even more. You get the far side of the field now. Right now, the ball's lined up to the near side, but once we motion him out, now right there, I just motioned him all the way to the outside. I didn't mean to do that. Let's go ahead and put him back in motion. Let's go ahead and motion him to where we want him stacked. And now he's going to be stacked. So once he's stacked, we got what we want, right? That's what we're looking for. Now we've got the matchup. We got him matched up to a linebacker. We're in pretty good shape. And now we also have the far side for him to run that route where he's going to have all this green. As you look at it, he's going to have all this green here once he breaks out towards the sideline for us to drop our quarterback back and look to make this deep throw deep down the field and hit this. We've got a lot more green now than we had before because where the ball is lined up when we snapped it. So just keep that in mind. If this is something you want to set up, maybe on first down you run a run play to the left, or maybe you run it to the right side and then you flip the play and you run it towards the left side as far as the play being ran, and then you have him running it to the left side rather than to the right side. Regardless, if you get him where he has more room, more real estate to work with, it makes it that much more effective. So right now, let's go ahead and hot route the tight end again on that streak. And let's just go ahead and run this play this time. Now, I also want you guys to see something too again here that just happened there. This time, there was a switch where the linebackers actually switched. So if you watch this linebacker right here actually switched there. Sorry about that alarm going off, but this guy actually switched with this guy, and he ended up covering that receiver when we put him in motion. So that was something else that just happened, because I've seen this happen too. That's why earlier when I was talking about it, I thought maybe he would cover him. But at any rate, that's it right there as far as that goes. Let's go one more time, called press coverage. There's the cover two man, the hot route that we're going to make, and then go with that. So let's just go ahead and run this one more time. And I'm going to show you one last thing I want to point out here. There we go again. And this could be it. No, I thought it was going to go all the way in. So that's what you're going to get with that particular play. When you run it against a base type formation, such as the 3-4, 4-3, 46, you're going to get them matched up. And of course, being a 11 personnel, a lot of times your opponent might run a 3-4 or a 43 type defense, or a 46, or even a 4-4 for that matter, because he wants to match up with what you have. Now, if he comes out, say he comes out in a nickel formation, let's run this nickel 2-4-5 defense, the cover two man, and you're running this same play and you get him against the nickel formation. So I want to show this to you because this is kind of important. So let's go ahead and call man coverage there, or press coverage. Let's go ahead and do our motion and put him in there where we get stacked behind that. Now I want you guys to see something right here, what happens here, and we'll go into it and we'll talk about it here in just a bit. I'm going to go ahead and hot route the tight end again, the inside tight end, the tight end on the wing position on a streak. And let's just go ahead and run this. And right there, if for some reason maybe you don't get the matchup that you want, like again, we got to match up against a linebacker, then if you don't get the matchup, maybe that linebacker, maybe you got a slower receiver and you get that matched up in a nickel, then just look for your tight end coming across on that crossing route. That's certainly going to give you an option. Now, I want to go ahead and look at one more formation in just a second. But again, you can see we've got guys open. We got a lot of guys open. We got really on this play here, we actually got 3 guys open that we can throw to as you look at it. So let's just take a look at it. You got these 3 guys that are going to be open. All 3 of those guys are going to be open against this nickel defense I'm showing you. I want to go into one more formation here real quick. Now, this is really up to you because you always have this option. Say they come out in a dollar formation. Let's do the sugar defense. Dollar sugar 3-2. So say they come out in that, and we run our play. Now, you have the option. If you see them start coming out in these dollar formations and you want to run the ball, I would run the ball on this. But if you still want to pass it, that's fine. I just want to show you guys something here. So let's go ahead and put him in motion. The problem with the dollar formation is they got an extra dime. You'll notice that this guy, when I motioned Cooper over, that defender is actually in position. You're not going to get a linebacker matched up in the dollar or the dime because you've got too many defensive backs. So now what's going to happen is you're probably going to end up being matched up with the defensive back. And I want to show something on that here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and hot route the tight end on the streak and then just run this. That time I actually got it picked. But that could happen right there, you know. That's one of the downsides. So if you see that, you might want to run it. Now, I probably threw the ball a little bit early, but there's things you can do to make this a little more effective. Let's go ahead and call press coverage. Rather than having this tight end who's running this crossing route, you can hot route him on a streak, and then you can hot route the wing tight end. Say, we'll just go ahead and hot route him on a flat route. All right. And then you go ahead and motion this guy over. Let's see what kind of coverages we get matched up this time. Let's see if anything changes with this. You could do something like that. I totally messed up on that play there, but you can see wide open on that one. So that's another way you could run that. If you want to, you could go with that look and see what happens with that, such as what I'm showing there if you want to. Now, that's really up to you. But just know you may get man coverage. You're just trying to when they go into like a dollar type formation or a dime, he's probably going to be matched up to a defensive back. That's what I'm really basically trying to tell you. So just keep that in mind. This works best against the 3-4, the 43, the 46, the nickel formations where you can get them matched up against a linebacker. Whereas in the dollar formation and the dime formation, because there's 6 defensive backs, he's going to probably be covered by a defensive back no matter what you do. So just keep that in mind. I just want to point that out to you when you run this. And that's really it for this video breakdown. I hope that this one helps you out with this particular play. I don't really spend a lot of time under center, but there are certain plays out there that you can do this with, and this is just one of those plays. Let's see what run play they got. They got the stretch. So maybe you could run the audible into the stretch play. I don't know if that's going to be something you want to do or not. But, that's something you can do. Or if you got an inside run play, do something like that in the dollar formation or against the dime formation and just audible into an inside run play where you may be a little more effective. All right, guys, this was a long video breakdown. But, hey, you know what? That's me. That's what I do. Like to break these plays down and let you guys see all the ins and outs and how this plays work. So, again, this particular play is called Singleback Wing Flex Play Action Y Cross. Don't forget, subscribe. If you guys like these video breakdowns, hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to check out the MaddenGuides.com site. We do a lot of nice stuff up on there as well. I keep putting up new content. Most of the content you see on YouTube is also up there, but there's some other content that might not be on YouTube. That's just text and pictures. So, if you guys get a chance, please check out the site. Spread the word. Let the guys know out there. Cobra is still breaking it down from VG Sports. Many years ago. So a lot of you guys remember me, and I continue to do this 20 years later, for 20 years, breaking down Madden strategies for the Madden community.